Hey, I wanted to get on and do a little bit of a different kind of makeup application with you today. I am prepping for this weekend, which is Easter weekend, and we have this big community event in the park. We have Easter in the park, and it's phenomenal. It's like one of the biggest things that we do besides a Christmas event where we use like the Performing Arts Center here. And so we have all of these people coming and it's outside. So I'm prepping using a little bit different technique, and I'm trying a primer, which I don't always use a primer. I'll use a setting spray to prime my face and then maybe finish with that. But because I'm going to be outside from like 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon running around with kids, I thought I would try something different and kind of do a couple trial runs throughout this week. So I'm going to put it on with you, and then I'll report back what I think about this primer. And I'll tell you what it is after, once I'm done. So I'm going to start with the detail brush again. I've been using this one just because I feel like I can really get the makeup where I want it. And then this way I have a little more heavier application because I can really press in right there where my cheekbone is. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And I start right at like the top of my ear, right where my cheekbone is. And I press right along that bottom part of my cheekbone. Okay, so I've done that on both sides. And now I'm going to go ahead and do just the teeniest amount up here on my forehead, just to kind of give that little bit of a shadow. And I'm going to go around temple to temple. And remember, this all gets blended out. So I'm just placing it right where I want it. So I'm doing just along my jawline, right to about where my smile line is, temple to temple, right here along my cheekbones. And I'm going to attempt again to do along the side of my nose, which is, I feel like it should be easier than I stress out about making it. Okay, now, so I've got the first placement of this cream foundation system on. I'm going to go ahead and swipe under my chin just to use up the rest of that contour, and then I'm going to go down my neck a little. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my main color, which is like your traditional foundation. This would be like the one that's closest to your skin. And I'm going to tap on the flat end, like just a few taps. And I'm going to start closest to my face and kind of go out. So this is, for me, a little heavier of an application too. Like I said, I'm practicing being out in the sun all day on Sunday. So I'm really kind of pressing in. I haven't blended yet, but I'm kind of putting a little heavier of an application on. I did do a little bit, well, I did do my eyes, but I did do a little bit different than I normally do. I tried to add in like a darker color, which I'm not sure. I'm experimenting a little bit. So I just kind of wanted, I don't have any like what I would say Eastery colors, like really lavenderish or pinkish. I do have like the blended of like the mauve colors, so I tried to like really get them in there, and I do have a little bit of illuminator to brighten up here on my brow. So I'm just trying different things. All right, so I think I have a pretty good, I've used that in, I've got a pretty good heavier application in here, maybe a tad bit more going this way. But then I'm going to flip it over to the smaller side, and I'm going to tap into this color called Sunlit. And I love this color. You can tell it's almost gone. And I'm just going to place it right here on the outer corner of my eye. This will help clean up any of the eyeshadow that has like filtered down or whatever from me blending it out. So all that fallout of it, I'm going to kind of clean up there. But then I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull it down here a little because I can kind of see where I have a little dark from being up too late, watching movies, hanging out. Okay, and then I'm gonna place it here to keep the brightness in the center of my face. Go down my nose. So the reason this is a little different is because I am, with all of it, making it just a tad bit more heavy to see how it stays on my face, because I don't always put a lot on. It may seem like I do, but I don't. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna place on is the lip and cheek. And this is the color Sandstone, and this is the color Frenchie. These are my go-to colors. But I told you I'm trying something different, and I love these colors. I would wear them every single day, wear them on my eyes. Actually, I used a mixture of the two as like a base primer for my eyes. I did not put the primer on my eyes, just to kind of hold on to some of those other colors and make it a little deeper. But today, I am going to change it up, and I'm going to use a bolder color. So I have in my artist kit a lot of little variety. I don't have a lot. I do have the color Rosewood, but that's in the other room, and it's very close to Sandstone. So I think I'm gonna be a little bold, and I'm gonna go with this color Sangria, which I think I've used only once before. But because I have like the same color in my eyes, I thought it would be fun to pull a similar color down onto my cheeks and onto my lips. But this is outside my comfort zone, so I just kind of want to see how it goes. I'm also going to bring it down a little more than I normally do. I like to keep it high because I like the lifted look to my cheeks because I have chubby cheeks. So I think I'm going to place it right at my contour line like I normally do, but I'm going to follow a little more like the natural like outline of my face. So when you smile, a lot of people like to start like on the balls of their cheeks. I'm not going to go that far, but I am going to go to like here where my eye, line it up with the corner of my eye. And I'm going to do just kind of like a little swipe. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I am actually bringing it down a little farther than I normally do. And it's a little bolder of a color than I normally use. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a little on. Oh yeah. Definitely not my norm. We'll see when I'm done. You can let me know what you think. Okay, so now I have all of the basics in place. I'm going to use now my blush and bronzer brush. This is my favorite, like finishing brush for sure. You can do your whole face with this brush, but I like it to kind of blend and finish and soften everything. And then I'm gonna go back when we're done, and I'm going to use an illuminator. You know what I think I want real quick is I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a bronzer on. I feel like I have like, I'm at a football game or basketball game and I just have like school colors on my face right now. So I'm gonna take that bronzer, I'm gonna use the teeniest amount, and I'm gonna tap like in a C shape. I don't wanna use a whole lot of the bronzer because I have a heavier application everywhere else. So I'm just gonna do like that C shape all the way around, maybe a tiny bit here and a tiny bit here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the smaller end, which is the blush end of the blush and bronzer brush, and I'm gonna start in the lighter colors. And I'm gonna blend, for me, I'm gonna try to blend out. Now I'm mostly tapping, so like a stippling motion, kind of blending that through those lighter areas first, where I place like my main highlight color and my brightening highlight color. Even up here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and work my way out. I'm gonna kind of move around that bronzer a little bit, warm up my skin. I'm gonna do it on this side. Come down and just kind of work it in over here where I have that cheek color, and do the same thing on this side. kind of moving that bronzer and that blush together. So it actually warms up your face. It warms up, I'm talking bronzer, that lip and cheek a little bit. So maybe it won't be so bold and bright and way outside my comfort zone. Then I'm going to go down the side of my nose and I'm just going to soften those lines because we don't want any bold or harsh lines. We just want a soft, seamless look to our makeup application. So if you can see, and then I'm gonna, well, let's look at this. So I'm gonna take that contour and I'm gonna kind of feather it up because I don't wanna drag anything down. But I do have that blush now that's come down here a little farther than normal. And I'm okay with it. It's not so bad. When it first went on, I was a little nervous. But you can see that I still have light here and here, like here in the places where I put the lighter, so it lightens it up. You can even go back in and like work through if like your eyes feel too bold. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the illuminator because I wanna have like that little bit more of a glow. I'm using the color Confetti, which is this one. And I'm just gonna pop it right along that top of my cheekbone, and it just adds a little bit of shimmer. Do you see it? It's not a whole lot. Then I'm gonna go down my nose a little there and a little there. I'm gonna go right on top, right there at my Cupid's bow. And I am gonna pop just the teeniest amount more up here at the top. And because I have this on my lips already, the sangria, I'm going in the middle, just to give a little bit more like a luminescent glow. And that's it. So now I have everything on how I like it. I'm gonna flip over to the bronzer side, which is just really big and fluffy, okay? And then I'm going just to gently, I'm not pressing hard at all, kind of blend it out, smooth out anything that maybe I missed. And this can sometimes be in place of using your perfector sponge. So the perfector sponge, you know what I'm talking about, like the little sponges, I don't have one handy. And if you dampen it and just squeeze out all of the water, and then you just press it on to your skin. You can do this with any makeup, but it works really well with cream foundation. And it will just pick up any excess makeup and just leave your skin looking just completely smooth. So this kind of, for me, feels like the same type of thing. I just feel like it adds a lot of blending out ability. I don't know the right word I'm looking for right now, but it actually picks up a little bit, smooths it out, and just kind of gives you another easy way to kind of blend out and look like you have a flawless, but we don't, because if I get really close, you can still see my freckles, you can still see stuff. But even with a heavier application, it doesn't look like cakey and makeup-y. It just looks a little deeper and darker. And that's all that I really wanted. And I'm gonna let you know how the primer turns out. So if you guys want to try a primer and you don't know which one to try, I think this one is called, I think it's Maybelline. It could be Revlon, but it has no silicone in it. So that's what you want. If you want to try a regular primer before you put your makeup on, when you're using the cream foundation, try something that doesn't have a silicone in it and see. Because if it has silicone in it, it will just slip and your makeup won't stick right to your face. But all right, let me know how it works for you and I'll let you know how this works out for me.